MTG Scoundrels, it's in the cardboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have Frogtide versus Eldrazi Tron. Frog on 5 here. Starting with the Marsh Flats and passing. There is an E-Temple. And Marsh Flat's going to get cracked in the end step here. More than likely finding an Undercity Sewers. Surveil lands have really made people rethink their turn ones. Looks like keeping it top and drawing it for turn. And of course there is a Watery Grave taking 2, casting a Psychic Frog, and passing. Frog has been good in every format it's legal in. There's another Eldrazi Temple. Into a Kozilek's command. Going to target that Psychic Frog. And that'll get eaten up by a Force of Negation. K command going to exile. Misty Rainforest. Attacking in. Looks like that's going to be an attack for 2 here. Drawing a card off the frog. And passing. Well, as the e-tron player here, you kind of need to start casting spells, get some stuff out of their hand. Frogtide is on 5. There's a Urza's, an Ugin's Labyrinth. With nothing underneath it, and there's a Glaring Fleshraker. Mr. Rainforest going to get cracked here. That'll find an Undercity Sewers. And Fatal Push will take care of the Glaring Fleshraker. Swamp going to the bin. Frog attacking. Unearth being discarded to the frog here. That'll make it a 3/4. 3 damage coming in, bringing us to 16-15. After drawing the card off a frog, Oculus going to get discarded the frog and going to get hit with an Unearth to bring it back. In the upkeep, Manifest Dread. This is how these Frogtide lists tend to take over the game if they're running Oculus. Mindstone. Glaring Fleshraker. Passing the turn. discarding a spell snare to the frog. Frog gonna get flying here as it gets activated. Exiling 3 cards from the bin. Attacking in. That'll bring us to 16-3. Need land all his dust off the top to possibly stabilize here. Manifesting Dread. Was an answer found. If an answer was found, this would probably be slammed here. Hoping that the last card for the Frogtide player isn't a counterspell of some sort. Yeah. This is a tough one. We're not seeing a land slammed here either. Nope, scooping it up from there. Game 1. Going to Frogtide. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. We are just hitting 300 subscribers, and we are on our way to the 500 and 1,000 number marks. So definitely subscribe. More modern content coming out. More of the best decks in the format, especially here during the RCQ season, so you can see lines, as well as different sideboarding decisions, etc. Moving into our sponsors, definitely check out our friends in playing in this video, Arcane Artistry. They're on e-tron. Make wonderful food, clue, and treasure tokens in the stained glass style. Link to their Etsy is in the description below. You can check out their tokens in action over on EDH Hijinks, as well as the Spike Feeders. And definitely check out hosts of our channel, Warden Games, a wonderful place to storm out. Link to their TCG player as well as their storefront in the description below. And of course, check out our friend Sean Gerard. Did wonderful art for this channel. Has done art for a few other channels as well. They are currently open to new projects. The QR code for their Instagram is up on the screen. So definitely give them a look. And their email is in the description as well, if you prefer to get a hold of them that way. And of course, follow us on social media. We are on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook at MTG Scoundrels. Go ahead and follow us on there. We always post when new videos goes up, as well as some of our thoughts on Magic as a whole. So we're starting to see what the format's looking like in this RCQ season now that Tarkir Dragonstorm has been out, available to play for everybody. The MTGO people have their cards available to them, so we're starting to see things pan themselves out in this format. And the one thing we all thought was going to happen was, in fact, Boros Energy was going to be one of the most represented decks in the format. And that alone was going to bring some results, some interesting pieces that have come into this list. Voice of Victory, we start to see that card occasionally, as a 1 to 2 of. A nice piece to be able to free up your turns to really combo off, so that way they can't interact on your turn. Of course, Ugin is starting to see itself be played in all of the versions of Eldrazi outside of the Brood Scale combo lists, which have started to make a return now that the best combo in the format isn't as clear as it was now that Temur Breach is gone. But right now, the best combo decks in the format are definitely Belcher as well as Amulet Titan, both putting up impressive results by those who know how to play the decks. But the standout deck from this RCQ season so far has to be these prowess lists, specifically with Kori's Steelcutter, is showing to really just be something that's difficult to interact with. Kori's Steelcutter itself not actually being an activated ability when it attaches, it is a triggered ability. So making multiple threats is not difficult whatsoever. And also them gaining haste is rather impressive. Also, trample is one hell of a keyword, and these Izzet versions specifically having access to so many cantrips to be able to find Kori's Steelcutter and trigger it make them very difficult to deal with. So if I was going to tier this out, the A tier right now would be 3 decks. We are looking at these prowess lists, specifically Eldrazi Ramp, and of course the Boros Energy list. If we were to have a B tier, it really is only B tier by name. It's just a notch down, but it's not really that far off of these A tier lists. We have Amulet Titan. I'm also going to put Jeskai Ascendancy here because I think it is very good at taking out these RCQs. I'd also put here Ruby Storm at times, as well as Dimir Murktide, which can come in 3 different forms. Specifically, Frogtide with Oculus. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't also bring up that Belcher should be in this tier as well, and sometimes it even looks like an A tier deck. And in this C tier, we have Colorless Eldrazi and Eldrazi Tron variants playing Ugin Eye of the Storms, which can possibly move its way up to a B tier list, as well as other decks, including Brood Scale combo, as well as Affinity, Domain Zoo, and the real shocker, how far these Orzhov Blink decks have fallen off. All right, we are moving on into game number 2 here. Looks like e-tron and Frogtide both going to be on 6. There is a Devourer of Destiny as the pre-game action. Looking at the top 4. Could exile up to 4 cards here if they want, or put one on top of those 4. Whew, looks like 2 Tron pieces. And by what I could see there, looks like a tower is going top. Starting off with a power plant. Watery Grave. Going to come in. Into a turn 1 Tamiyo. There is the mine. And passing. And there is a Thoughtseize. Interesting decision here. 2/7 drops and a Flesh Raker. Considering there's a tower in hand, it's just a matter of which one would you rather deal with. If I'm the Frogtide player, facing turn 3 Sire is probably the worst option. Because getting rid of that Sire is a royal pain. So yep, taking the Sire there. Bringing us to 16 to 20. Tapped land, Tamiyo's going to attack, create a clue token, and pass on the turn. Specifically, that's a tapped backside of Sink into Stupor. There's the tower. And there's the Devourer of Destiny. That's going to exile the Tamiyo. In passing. Nothing like a turn 3 6/6. Psychic Frog in passing. Oof. There's the Swamp. There's a Glaring Flesh Raker. Devourer Destiny going to get in. That'll bring us to 10 to 20. Tough decision here. I'm going to take 2 off Watery Grave. There's a Harbinger of the Seas. Who in response, floating mana. There is a K command. And the Frogtide player is just going to scoop it up here. Game 2 going to Eldrazitron. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Once again, we are on our march to 500 and 1,000 on the subscriber count. We just hit 300, so thank you so much for your guys' support. Like and subscribe. It means a lot to us over here. I've personally been pretty impressed by the resilience of these Frogtide lists in their mini forms, or as I like to irk a couple of our players by calling them dimir midrange. They just have a lot of different answers if they know what the tournament's field is going to look like that they can bring in and interact pretty well. And they don't have to think twice about playing consigned to memory into these Eldrazi Tron and just general Eldrazi lists. Of course, Eldrazi Tron is definitely intriguing. I myself being an Eldrazi Tron player at a time, and you know, having the card board still definitely worth it. Affinity is out there. Jeskai Ascendancy is out there. Both Monk's Opal decks. And you know, turn 3 Ugin really isn't a bad idea. And Sire of Seven Deaths has probably been in its best position that it has been since it's been printed. Both players look like they're close to being done shuffling up here. Of course, these dimir lists, have been running Kaito occasionally as well out of the board. Kind of looks like both players are keeping here. Or at least having a long think about it. Frogtide going to be on the play. Yep, Polluted Delta. And passing. There is a mine and passing. Polluted Delta, going to get cracked in the end step. Into a Watery Grave. Considering that's coming in untapped, I suspect we are going to see an end step consider here. There it is. Surveilling, putting a Force of Negation into the bin, drawing a card. Untapping. Real question is, yep, there is another consider, so that makes me think that there are some lands being dug for. Either that or there was an Undercity Sewers in hands. In hand. Surveilling, putting the Bowmasters into the bin. There's another Tron piece. Into a Mind Stone, saying go. When e-tron hits their Tron lands, it's difficult to face. Psychic Frog here, no third land drop to protect the frog. A tale as old as time. Tron on turn 3. There's 4 mana. There's a Thought-Knot Seer. Let's exile a card from a hand. Looks like taking the Force of Negation here, that makes me think we're about to see a Kozilek's Command. A Tamiyo, a Harbinger, a Thoughtseize, and 2 Bowmasters. There is Kozilek's Command. Going to exile a Psychic Frog while making 2 Eldrazi spawn tokens. Marsh Flats, 3rd land off the top here. Finding a swamp. Into a Harbinger of the Seas, trying to slow down the mana here. But still 6 mana on the board for the Eldrazi Tron player. Thought-Knot Seer going to get in. Attack for 4. That'll bring us to 12 to 20. Mind Stone and a Spawn. Well, 2 spawns and Mind Stone. K-Command going to deal with the Harbinger. That'll unlock a tower here. I guess the real question is, what was the second mode? Second mode is going to be Scry Draw. So, going to Scry 3, putting them all to the bottom. And looking to draw some more action. There's the tower for turn. Ooh, may have forgot to draw there. I was just that disgusted with the top 3. There's Thoughtseize. 6 mana, another K command. So this will be X equals 4. Bowmaster in response. A lot of stuff going on here. So Bowmaster's going to ping the Eldrazi Tron player. That'll bring us to 10 to 19. So K-Command's going to go ahead and exile all the non-land spells from the bin. And there's going to be a Scry 4, draw 1. Tough decision here. You already know a couple of the cards in hand. There's another Bowmaster in there as well. Drawing the card, that's going to deal another damage. That'll bring us to 10 to 18. And that Orc Army is now a 2/2. Thoughtseize. Only target here is going to be a Glaring Fleshraker. So that'll bring us to 10 to 18. And Tamiyo is going to be the play off of a Cracked Polluted Delta. Finding an island. Thought-Knot Seer, attacking in. Taking 4. That'll be 5 to 18. A lot of pressure on the Frogtide player. 2 mana. Dismember. It's going to deal with that Bowmasters, making that 5 to 14. With that extra mana, going to crack the Mind Stone. E-Temple for turn and passing. Trying to look for relevant spells here. Tamiyo's going to get in. Make a clue. Thought-Knot Seer attacking. Before blockers are declared, looks like Bowmaster is going to get flashed in. Going to deal 1 damage to the Thought-Knot Seer, make another Orc Army. +1/+1 counter anyway, and then block with a 3/3. And they'll draw off the Thought-Knot Seer trigger. But then you follow up with a Sire 7 Deaths. Play an E-Temple for turn, and say good luck. Going to draw off that clue on the end step. A lot of cards in hand, but that is a 7/7 Ward 7. Lifelink, Reach, Vigilance, First Strike, Trample. A lot of words on that card. 7 keyword abilities. Psychic Frog being cast here. Well, now you attack in with a 7/7. Flashing in an Orcish Bowmaster. Not going to kill themselves. Targeting the Sire. Going to target the Eldrazi Tron player. Bringing us to 5 to 13. That'll make an Orc Army. Moving to blocks. I'm going to block with 4 toughness here, considering that Sire has the 7th keyword, which is Menace. Going to kill both of those. 3 are going to trample over. That'll bring us to 2 to 20. Why not play another Tron land, pass the turn? Why not go to 1? Flooded Strand getting cracked. Finding a tapped Undercity Sewers. Not that it would come in untapped. Surveil says, oh, that's a consign to memory, too late. And that'll do it. Game 3. It's going to go to Eldrazi Tron, and that'll be game, set, match. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.